Hello friends, welcome to the Tales of Mahabharata by Banyan Tree Stories. In the previous episode, through Niyog, Prince Dhritarashtra, Pandu and Vidura are born and grow up to be capable and knowledgeable. On the other hand, the adopted daughter of King Kunti Bhoj, Kunti, received a special mantra from sage Durvasa. Using the mantra, she begets a son with Lord Surya. And now, on to the next episode. There was a storm in Kunti's mind. She wasn't ready to become a mother yet, as her responsibilities as a daughter took priority. But what could she do with the newborn baby? Looking at the river outside her window, an idea crossed her mind. She wrapped the child in a luxurious red cloth and placed him in a box made of sandalwood. Hiding him from the world, she reached the banks of the river. Kunti was filled with affection for the child, looking at his smiling face. She hugged and kissed him goodbye and left him in the waters of the Ganges, looking on till he disappeared out of sight. Ridden with guilt and sadness, she said, "In the future, if we do meet, I will recognize you from your golden armor and earrings. The one who takes care of you will be a lucky woman, unlike me. I will always pray for your protection, and please forgive me for my mistake." Kunti lost her chirpiness after this incident. In time, Kunti Bhoj held a swayamvar for Kunti, where she chose Prince Pandu as her husband. She hoped to forget her past, forgive herself, and live happily with Pandu. Thus, Kunti became the first wife and Madri the second wife of Pandu. Pandu, being the chief of the armed forces, won over kingdoms like Kashi, Anga, Vanga and Kalinga. It almost seemed like the golden period of Kuru dynasty. Having won many battles, Prince Pandu with his wives went to relax in the foothills of the Himalayas. He often went on hunting expeditions to distress himself. On one such occasion, he shot an arrow at a couple of deers who were making love to one another. The female deer gave up her life when she realized her partner will not survive the blow of the arrow. The injured male deer took a human form and cursed Pandu. "Just as I am losing my life while being intimate with my partner, you would too lose your life in the same way." Pandu, in fear, narrated what had happened to his wives. He then took the decision to leave the kingdom and remain childless his whole life. His wives insisted on joining him, and thus the three of them settled down on the banks of the river Satsari. The ministers and army who accompanied Pandu delivered the message to Hastinapur. The kingdom was shocked at the news. Bhishma, saddened again, faced the problem of having no ruler for the kingdom. Pandu was learning to live a life as a bachelor. On cold nights, he would be tempted to be close to his wives, but the thought of the curse stopped him. But slowly, with the help of sages, he was getting a hang of it. "Will I be able to reach the heaven after my death if I don't have a son?" thought Pandu, remembering his grandmother Satyavati's words. He was riddled with fear and could only see children all around. On meeting a sage, he was told that he would father not only one, but 5 sons. "How is it possible? I have a curse on me. I can't have children," said Pandu. But the sage reminded him that his own mother begot a child after his father's death. He realized that the only way was through Niyoga. He narrated what had transpired to Kunti and requested her to take the path of Niyoga. The thought of Niyoga is never pleasant for any woman, but queens often accepted this fate for the kingdom. If you feel that having a child is the only way for you to reach heaven, then why don't we have a child together? After taking care of the child for 1 year, I will accept death and join you, said Kunti emphatically. But I just don't want to be called a father. I would like to spend time with our children and see them grow up, said Pandu. Seeing the pain in his eyes, Kunti melted and told him about the boon she received from sage Durvasa. Pandu, happy, informed Madri and decided to take the blessings of all the sages close by to take this big step in his life, while Kunti decided to invoke Dharmadev, the god of right conduct and justice. In morning, Pandu and Madri returned with excitement and nervousness. Kunti held the child she had with Dharmadev and announced him as Yudhishthira. He will go on to become the epitome of truth, that even enemies will trust him. He will rule his land one day, declared Kunti. 1 year flew by. One day, Pandu once again requested Kunti to beget another child. He said, difficult times lie ahead. A truthful and just Yudhishthira could find it tough to live in this unjust world. He would need a brother who would not only listen to him, but also be strong enough to defend and protect him. Kunti, unable to deny her husband, asked, which god should I invoke? Who can be better than Lord Hanuman, who is strong and dedicated? He lifted a mountain on Lord Rama's request. He will be the perfect son, said Pandu. Kunti, after a thought, said, then we should invoke the god of winds. I shall go to the mountain top and call upon him so the sages and hermitage and the animals in the jungles are not disturbed. She went on to the top of the mountain, but she wasn't as forthcoming this time as before. Her mind was clouded with thoughts. What will society think of me? I thought I'll spend my life with one man, but I am forced upon to call upon gods to fulfill my duties. What is this destiny? She invoked Vayudeva apprehensively, but the Lord greeted her with respect, making her feel comfortable. Soon they created a child, Bhima, who would one day greatly contribute to the world. A year passed by, but for Pandu, dreams of God, especially Indra, the god of thunder, recurred. One day, he told Kunti, Bhishma is good for Yudhishthira to guard him in close quarters, but he will need someone who can protect him from enemies from far away itself. An archer would be perfect for that. His mere presence should scare enemies. He told Kunti to invoke Lord Indra. Kunti began to oppose, but soon realized it was a good idea after all. Kunti had a wonderful experience with Lord Indra, which she could not express in words. But she also felt guilty to be with someone who was not her husband. She decided that she would never again use sage Durvasa's mantra. Lord Indra named Kunti's third son Arjuna and said, "Our son would be the greatest archer ever. He would also play a huge role in helping Lord Vishnu establish right conduct and justice in this world." Soon, Pandu felt the need to have another child, but Kunti was clear that bearing another godchild would only take a toll on her body and that it is impossible for her to do so. Pandu tried convincing her several times, but she refused to change her mind. He was dejected and left with no choice. Madri was unable to see her husband's pain and suggested, "Why can't I use sage Durvasa's mantra and beget a child? I too can become a mother then." Pandu thought this was a wonderful idea, but Kunti was not convinced. "You have 3 sons, but I have none. Using the mantra, I too would be able to bear a child," said Madri. Kunti relented to the pressure and agreed to give the knowledge of the mantra. One night, Madri went into the jungle and invoked Lord Ashwin. Madri was blessed with twins, and they were named Nakula and Sahadeva by Lord Ashwin. They will become great scholars, having the knowledge of medicinal sciences and warfare, blessed Lord Ashwin. Madri became attached to her sons, having become a mother after a long time. But without realizing it, she treated her sons specially compared to the other children. On the other hand, Kunti considered all the 5 boys as a gift from gods and treated them equally. Pandu was tempted to have another child, but Kunti refused him. He too gave in and did not push her further. The Yadavas from Mathura sent their wishes to the children through sage Kashyapa. The sage held a thread ceremony for the Pandavas to initiate their education. Said Sukha, son of Satyavati, was residing in the same forest at that time, thus becoming the first guru for the Pandavas. He gave his bow and arrow and taught Arjuna archery. Impressed with the young boy's dedication and skills, he said, "I have given you all the knowledge that I possess, but now it's time for you to get a formal education at the Gurukula." There were grand celebrations all over Hastinapur for the birth of the princess, but King Dhritarashtra felt uneasy. He was happy for Pandu, his brother who he loved, but was also concerned about his kingdom and his throne. He feared that his amicable relationship with his brother would suddenly become strained. What will he do to save his throne? Hope you liked the video. Stay tuned for the next episode by Banyan Tree Stories. Do not forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel.